Let's get right into it. Number 10, counting cards. You've seen those movies where some genius MIT students spend months learning to count cards. Hollywood lied to you. The basic high-low system is so simple, a trained monkey could probably do it. Here's how it works. Cards 2 through 6 are worth +1. Cards 7 through 9 are worth 0. And all the face cards, 10s, and aces are worth -1. That's it. You just keep a running count as cards come out of the deck. If the count is high, that means there are more high cards left in the deck, which is good for you. You bet more money. If it's low, there are more low cards left. You bet less. It's not rocket science, it's just first-grade math. The casinos don't want you to know this because it gives you about a 1% edge over the house. That might not sound like much, but it's enough to turn blackjack from a losing game into a winning one. The real reason casinos hate it is because they're used to having a mathematical advantage over every person who walks through their doors. When someone comes in who understands basic addition and subtraction, they get upset. Counting cards isn't illegal, but casinos are private properties, and they can ask you to leave if they catch you. Most card counters get caught not because they mess up the counting. They get caught because they're terrible actors. They're the ones staring at the cards like they're trying to solve world hunger. When the count gets high, they suddenly start betting big. When it's low, they bet small. You can learn this in a weekend, but practice at home first, unless you want to have a friendly chat with casino security. And by friendly chat, I mean being escorted out while they take your picture for their do not allow wall. Number 9, beatboxing. Beatboxing is basically just making 3 silly sounds with your mouth. First, the kick drum. Just say boots without the s. Boot, boot, boot. Next, the hi-hat. That annoying tis-tis-tis sound. Last, the snare drum. Say kai while pushing air out the side of your mouth. It might sound terrible at first, but after a few hours, it starts sounding like an actual drum. Put these 3 sounds together. That's basic beatboxing. Your throat might feel like you've been gargling sand by Sunday night, but by Monday morning, you'll be able to drop a basic beat. The pros who do all those crazy sounds take years to master. Basic beatboxing is just a weekend of annoying everyone around you. Don't practice while eating or drinking. I learned that the hard way, and my keyboard never fully recovered. Number 8, touch typing. You know that coworker who types like they're playing piano? Meanwhile, you're still hunting and pecking at your keyboard like a chicken looking for corn. You can learn to type properly in just one weekend. Most people think learning to touch type is this long, painful journey, but it's more like ripping off a Band-Aid. Painful for a moment, but then it's done. First, you need to commit to being terrible for about 48 hours. I mean really terrible. Like, my grandma could text faster than this terrible. The trick is to force yourself to use the proper finger positions no matter what. Even if it takes you 5 minutes to type hello, even if your brain is screaming at you to go back to your old ways, the first few hours will be pure torture. You'll feel like you've forgotten how to use a keyboard entirely. Your fingers will feel like they're made of wood. Around hour 6 or 7, something clicks. Your brain starts to make connections. The letters start feeling less random. By the end of day 1, you'll be slow but functional. By the end of day 2, you'll be approaching your old speed. And by Monday morning, you'll be typing properly without even thinking about it. Your brain is great at creating new neural pathways when you force it to. It's like when you learn to ride a bike. Once a connection is made, it sticks around. Most typing courses stretch this out over months. How else would they justify charging you? You can knock out all the actual practice in a weekend. The key is to not give yourself an escape route. No, just this one email, with your old method. No switching back when you get frustrated. Think about how much time you spend typing every day. Emails, messages, documents. Now multiply that by the rest of your working life. That's what you're trading for one weekend of mild discomfort. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Number 7, basic video editing. Video editing. Everyone thinks it requires a film degree and a mountain of equipment. Those fancy YouTube videos with smooth transitions and background music, most of those are made by people who learned the basics over a weekend. Modern video editing software is basically just digital scissors with some sparkles. You're cutting out the boring parts and gluing the good stuff together. What you actually need to learn. First, how to cut clips. Literally just pressing C in most editors. Second, how to move clips around. Drag and drop, like moving files on your desktop. Third, how to add music. Again, drag and drop. That's the foundation of video editing. Most professional YouTubers still use these 3 basic skills for 90% of their videos. All those million-view videos are basic cuts, basic transitions, and basic music placement. You can learn these basics in about 4 hours. The rest of your weekend is just practicing and getting faster at it. You don't need expensive software. DaVinci Resolve is free, and it's what Hollywood studios actually use. Your first video won't look like a Christopher Nolan film, but neither did his. Once you know these basics, you can learn the fancy stuff naturally, as you need it. Adding text is a 5-minute YouTube tutorial. Those swooshy transitions are another 5-minute tutorial. People think video editing takes years because they're trying to learn everything at once. That's like trying to learn every word in the dictionary before having a conversation. Just start with the basics. Cut, move, music. By Monday, you'll be making videos that at least look intentional. Number 6. Basic sleight of hand. Making a coin vanish is something you can learn in about 2 hours. And once you know how it works, you'll realize you've been fooled by something ridiculously simple. Most magicians will tell you it takes years. They're lying to protect their secret club. The basic move is a false transfer. You pretend to move the coin from your right hand to your left, but you secretly keep it in your right hand while everyone's watching your left. You pass things between your hands dozens of times a day without thinking. This trick just copies that normal movement. Most people mess up because they try to be too fancy. They wave their hands around like they're conducting an orchestra. That just screams, "Hey everyone, I'm doing a magic trick." The key is to be boring. The more casual you are, the more impossible it seems when the coin vanishes. The hardest part isn't the move itself. It's fighting the urge to make it look magical. You need a coin, a mirror, and a couple of hours. Practice the move slowly until the mechanics are right, then speed it up. Give it a weekend and you'll be making coins vanish like they're your savings account. Number 5. Essential knots. I had to help my friend move a couch. We tried to tie it to the roof of his car, but neither of us knew what we were doing. That couch ended up doing a backflip on the highway. Knowing just one proper knot would have saved it. You can learn the 5 most useful knots in about an hour. First up is the bowline knot. Sailors call this the king of knots because it's strong, reliable, and easy to untie even after supporting heavy weight. How many times have you had to cut a rope because you couldn't undo your own knot? The bowline is like having an undo button. Next is the clove hitch. Perfect for quickly securing something to a pole or railing. Great for tying down tarps in high winds. The figure 8 knot is next, the one that could save your life. Rock climbers use this because it's nearly impossible to undo by accident. People trust their lives to a knot you can learn in 5 minutes. Number 4 is the sheet bend. Use this when you need to join 2 ropes together, especially if they're different sizes. It's like the USB-C adapter of knots. It just works. Finally, the trucker's hitch. This is the one I wish I knew during the couch incident. It's basically a pulley system made of rope. You can use it to tie down anything, and it lets you make it super tight without the strength of a bodybuilder. You don't need special rope to practice. Grab your shoelaces. These 5 knots work with any kind of rope or cord. This knowledge could be the difference between life and death, or at least save your furniture from becoming highway debris. Number 4, making pasta from scratch. Those Italian grandmas who've been making pasta for 50 years, who make it look like some sacred art passed down through generations. Making pasta from scratch is actually stupidly simple. It's literally just flour and eggs. 2 ingredients. You don't need special equipment. You need a flat surface and your hands. 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs. Make a little volcano with the flour on your counter. Crack the eggs into the crater, then slowly mix the eggs into the flour with a fork. Once it starts coming together, get your hands in there and knead it for about 10 minutes. You're basically playing with edible Play-Doh. The dough should feel like your earlobe when it's ready. Yeah, reach up and feel your earlobe right now. That's the texture you're going for. Wrap it in plastic and let it rest for 30 minutes. This is when you can pretend you're doing something complicated while actually watching YouTube. After that, roll it out. A pasta machine helps, but a regular rolling pin or even a wine bottle works too. Roll it thin enough that you can see your hand through it. Then fold it up and cut it into strips. Now you've got fettuccine. The whole process takes maybe 2 hours, and most of that is waiting time. Even if you mess it up, it's still going to taste better than dried pasta. Fresh pasta has a completely different texture. It's silky, it's tender, and it'll convince everyone you have an Italian grandma's soul, when really, you just mixed flour and eggs while watching Netflix. Number 3, basic knife skills. On cooking shows, chefs chop at lightning speed. Meanwhile, you're at home taking 20 minutes to dice 1 onion while crying from both the onion and your own inadequacy. Basic knife skills take about 6 hours to learn. Not years, just 1 Saturday of practice. The key is something called the claw grip. You curl your fingers like a cat about to scratch your couch. This way, when you inevitably slip with the knife, you hit your knuckles instead of slicing off your fingertips. It's built-in finger insurance. The second trick is letting the knife do the work. Most people try to karate chop their vegetables, but a sharp knife should glide through food with minimal pressure. If you're pushing down hard enough to grunt, you're either using a dull knife or trying to cut your cutting board. Professional chefs sharpen their knives every day. Most home cooks are using knives duller than a tax law lecture. Get yourself a decent chef's knife and a sharpening stone. And no, that metal rod in your knife block isn't for sharpening. That's a honing rod. It straightens the edge. It doesn't sharpen it. Practice these basics for one weekend, and you'll cut your prep time in half. Start slow, focus on form, and before you know it, you'll be dicing onions without looking like you're defusing a bomb. Number 2, the ukulele. Everyone says learning an instrument takes years of dedication, but they're lying to you about the ukulele. This tiny guitar is basically the cheat code of musical instruments. You only need 4 chords to play 90% of pop songs. These chords are C, G, A minor, and F. You can learn these in literally one afternoon. If you can make a peace sign with your fingers, you're already halfway to playing your first chord. No other instrument lets you go from complete beginner to annoying everyone at the party in just one weekend. The strings are soft nylon, so your fingers won't feel like they've been through a meat grinder after practicing. And ukuleles are tiny. You can literally practice anywhere. You won't be the next Jake Shimabukuro after a weekend, but you will be able to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow well enough to make your mom proud. Or Hey Soul Sister, well enough to make everyone hate you. Look up any pop song's ukulele chords. 9 times out of 10, it's the same 4 chords in different orders. It's like they're all just copying each other's homework and changing it slightly. The music industry doesn't want you to know this, but most hit songs are just these 4 chords played while someone sings about their ex. Number 1. The Memory Palace Technique. Your brain remembers that embarrassing thing you did in 3rd grade with perfect clarity, but can't remember where you put your keys 5 minutes ago. There's a way to hack your brain to remember anything you want. It's called the Memory Palace, and it's been around since ancient Rome. You pick a place you know really well, like your childhood home. Then you turn whatever you want to remember into weird, crazy images and place them around this location. The weirder and more ridiculous, the better. Say you need to remember a grocery list. Milk, eggs, bread, and bananas. Picture walking into your house. In the entryway, there's a cow doing yoga in a tutu. That's your milk. In the living room, a giant chicken is laying golden eggs while watching Netflix. There's your eggs. The kitchen has the Pillsbury Doughboy breakdancing on your counter. That's your bread. And in your bedroom, a group of monkeys are having a pillow fight with bananas. Our brains are terrible at remembering lists, but amazing at remembering places and weird stuff. World memory champions use this technique to memorize entire decks of cards in under a minute. The more violent or dramatic the image, the more likely you are to remember it. Your brain loves drama. You can learn this in a weekend. Just start with something simple like a 10-item grocery list. Unlike your phone's notes app, your memory palace can't crash or run out of battery. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.